But the game of entrepreneurship is so ugly that if people actually knew how ugly was up front, very few would even do it. It's very ugly. It's very lonely. It's very frustrating. It exploits you at the highest level. You know, in the world of business, you don't just have one or two weaknesses. Imagine all of a sudden one day, 50 weaknesses are exposed, all at the same time. And everybody tells you, because it's you. Who wants that? No one wants that. And imagine a game where you always have to recreate yourself or else you lose. Like, let me put it to you this way. It's like working out, but you can't take a day off. You know how you work out, at least you got like a few days off to have your, regroup and all that stuff. For the first 2 to 5 years, if you look the other way just because you just made $1 million in a month and you start getting very cocky or arrogant, boom, you're wiped out. That's all it takes. It's a subtle look away to get knocked out. And so, a lot of these books, self-help books that you read and say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do that. They don't touch on the ugly part of running a business. Now, set the ugly part aside. The one part that outweighs being willing to tolerate all this pain is the fact that choices matters to you. If you're driven by choices, if you're driven by control, if you're driven by, being able to choose the kind of a life you want to live, that reward is so much higher than the pain you're going to have to put up, that you're willing to put up with the pain because you want this. Because what's the flip side? Here's the flip side. My 3 kids go to the same private school together. It's very expensive. Okay, you live in a decent community. You have a house with elevators and privates. You can have security. You can have nicer insurance, nicer protection, better advisors, better counselors, better money managers, better attorneys, better CPAs, better protection, all of that stuff. The choices, better places to go, people that you can associate with that are at your same level, if not higher than you, more things that you can have as choice. I'm not talking necessarily material things, choices. So if the choices and the controls that big of a motivation for you, you're going to be able to put up with the pain. But if the pain's too much for you and this doesn't really matter, you'll eventually go back to having a job.